The meaning of yoga is union. Union between our souls and divine. The meaning of yoga is union between unit consciousness and supreme consciousness. The search for truth is one of the strongest drives that a human being has. Once we are trying to find who we are and what are we doing on this planet, how to live our lives correctly, properly, how to live our lives without harming other creatures, how to live our lives to enhance the other beings, the development of other beings on the planet Earth, we come across this concept of truth. Truth is very multi-layered and it is very mystical. Truth is this search, our search for truth is the search for the question, what is actually good for me? What is good for the environment? What is good for the society? What is the best way for the society to function, or for environment to stay healthy? What is the best way for me to stay happy? When there is this movement, either physical movement or mental movement or emotional movement, we have a feeling that something is happening. So within our physical body, eating and drinking and making food and going from one day to another, sleeping, waking up, going to a party, preparing a party, etc. When there is a movement, we have a feeling that something is happening. And yet, this movement, to some of the philosophers of the East, looks like a stage. This movement is described by some of the gurus of the East as Maya, movement of the physical, mental and emotional body that is there to give our soul a range of experiences. Exists all around us. Physical body moves and we feel pleasure tasting the food, or we feel pleasure doing an exercise, or we feel how our mind expands after we had a wonderful jog through the forest. Movement brings us into different states of consciousness. Now, tracing what exactly happens within our physical body and emotional body and the mental body, and relating that to our soul's experiences, being aware of it, being alert, and being conscious of the range of feelings and mental states that we can experience is a wonderful thing. Often we are surrounded by too many stimuli. Often we do not give ourselves time for silence, time for reflection, time to realize what is it, what is the action that have been performed, what are the thoughts that have been taught that might have hurt myself or hurt somebody else. Often live in a sort of fog, forgetting what had happened to us, forgetting what is the thing that made us happy or made us sad. We often sleep while we are within this movement of the physical, mental and emotional body. Now, The ones who like jogging will remember this state of consciousness, of expansion, that a jogger would feel after a wonderful jog within the nature. A meditator will feel the same state of consciousness after some time sitting down and meditating, merging within this flow. Merging with this expansion is a wonderful experience that we are capable of, experience that lives within our mind, that is there to give our souls a sign. That soul has a huge spectrum of range of possibilities, that states of mind could be so different. Now, beyond the state of happiness and sadness, beyond the state of laughter and cry, there is this peace, this wonderful peace that is experience of the mind, body and soul, that brings us this feeling of expansion, this merge with the universal flow, this complete feeling of merge with the life force. Once we are doing climbing and we are on the top of that climb, we have just finished with the difficult bit going up the mountain, we experience the same beautiful feeling of expansion. Once we feel like being in love, once we are in love with another person, once we are intoxicated by this feeling of love, once we live in the heart and we open this love towards others, once we open our heart, this feeling of expansion will also overwhelm us. We are capable of a range of feelings, we are capable of a range of mental states that are just amazing. Now, there is an amazing biological setup within our brains. It was developed through evolution, and this particular setup is there to save us, protect us from mistakes that nature used to challenge us with. Within this particular setup, the brain is structured or wired in such a way to record negative experiences, to remember negative experiences, to go back to the negative experiences. So if you have just had a blissful singing of mantras or a blissful drumming circle, it is much more likely that your brain will not record this particular experience as much as an experience of an accident that you have lived through during the same day. So if you have physically hurt yourself, this experience of a pain stays within our brain a little bit more than the experience of bliss we have experienced through singing or dancing or playing an instrument. This basically teaches us that while we are in these states of bliss, while we are experiencing these wonderful feelings, while we are connecting to the source of love, to the source of light, to the source of consciousness, we should stay aware and awake, and we should remind ourselves of that particular experience. We should remind ourselves to go back to that particular experience. We should remind and put a recording into our brain that the positive experience happened as much as the negative, and that once we are within the flow, we will experience even more positive experiences than the negative one. And if we manage to retrain our brain to start recording positive experiences, this skill of learning how to see the world around you, seeing it a glass of water half full with water as a half full glass as opposed to half empty glass, we will as human beings become much more enriched with a range of feelings that pass through us, with a range of mental states that we are capable of producing. So remind yourself, once you are in a state of bliss, to remember this state of bliss. And if you know that this is caused by silence, by meditation, by this moment of merging with the life flow, then give yourself those precious moments without stress, without noise, without all the other external stimuli. Give yourself this inner peace that actually is beyond happiness and sadness, that has inner joy within itself, within its core. Give yourself this gift by remembering it, by going back to it, by connecting with it every time you go into a meditation, or you choose a silent spot, or you enter into a church. Connect with your soul's experience of peace and beauty. Connect with your soul's experience of love. It is a very precious gift.